Never see you until you do. You gotta get up. Body me wake up and make a move. Oh. Cause the world will never see you until you do. They don't really care, see they do you. Oh. So make you show them, baby. Oh yeah, show them the real you. Oh yeah, show them what you get. No, 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 don't let them say what's in other why you strong. Oh. You can't bring no. You want more than 1,000 reasons why. You don't need to perfect, baby. Cause nobody perfect, darling. No, 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 there's nobody in the world where be like you.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Touch a Cell with Totin and the gang. This show is brought to you by Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative with, of course, with the support of the Public Affairs section of the United States Consulate. And today, Auntie Toyin will be joining us on the show. She'll be co-hosting on the show once again. I'm sure we have all new. Okay, so
hello. Yeah, it's good to be back. Hi, everybody. If you are on this call, don't forget to share to people to watch, invite people to come and watch. I'm just going to have an interesting conversation today. So Maureen is our main host, so she's going to take it off. I'm just here to give the moral support, as it were.
All right, so we'll be through interesting guests today as we talk about volunteering for social impact, Ethleen, Peacock, and Gragevis. So I'll be letting them in now, and they will tell us a little bit. Hi, Ethleen, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am originally from Sierra Leone, relocated to the United States 7 years ago in search of a better health care. So I launched Strength in Sickle Cell in honor of my friend. She died of sickle cell back in Sierra Leone. And so since then, I've decided to raise awareness because people need to know you're making sickle cell babies. It's not like, oh, you just sit and have cancer, or maybe you careless yourself, you have HIV. No, you are making the babies. So you have the power to stop it. That's what my organization does. We preach that.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Thank you for joining us, Ethleen. And Gragevis, please, can you give a brief introduction about yourself? Let us know, meet you.
Okay, I'm originally from Congo, and I'm just here in South Africa for the time being. But yeah, I'm just fond of sickle cell, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right, that's great.
Oh,
Good to have
okay, you live with sickle cell. Welcome to Touch Yourself. Okay, so volunteering for social impact. Ethleen, you mentioned that you had a friend who passed on, and you sort of feel the need to tell people that they should be aware of their genotypes, that this is from them. It's not like a disease that one catches from any other thing. Maybe it's not like malaria that you get from mosquito, or hepatitis that you get from some maybe bad blood transfusion or something like that. Okay, so how has it been so far?
Well, basically, I will say it's really hard because sickle cell education is lacking. It doesn't matter where you are. You are in Africa, you are in Asia, you are in America, you are in Europe. People don't know about sickle cell. And we just don't know what is the problem, why people don't know about it. Is it UN have to do something? Is it they have to treat it like malaria? Is it they have to treat it like HIV? Is it they have to treat it like polio? Maybe if they give it like a public health status, then people are going to take it serious. But it's like people don't know about it. So, of course, I don't care till you have a sickle cell child and you start running around looking
Mm.
for sympathy. And you know what? Sickle cell doesn't do sympathy. You can cry all you want, you can do whatever. Your child is going to be in pain and you can't do anything. So, the little organization people like us have, we are struggling even to talk to people in the community. They don't want to listen to you. It's like, oh, I don't have sickle cell in my family, so it doesn't matter. No, you don't know your genotype. So it's hard. The awareness is so hard. So maybe we need to talk to WHO. We need to talk to United Nations. We need to talk to European Union. We need to talk to the American embassy. All these people come together and let's all make a resolution and make sickle cell a public health, like malaria, like polio, like HIV.
Okay, I like to I'll follow up with this question. Now, you were talking about declaring it a public health problem and all that. Now, technically, let's say technically it's been registered as that. So do you think is that there's not enough people talking about it? There are not enough hands to create awareness about it. Do you think that's the reason? Why do you think? Because first of all, with World Sickle Cell Day, it was this they said that it's a public health problem. It's a health challenge. It has all the names they've given it. But when it comes to the actual information out there, there's not enough information, or I don't know whether it's to do with, okay, maybe we don't have enough people talking about it. It's just a segment of a particular lot of people talking about it, or it's just that people just don't care.
I will say it's two things. So enough people are not talking about it. Why
Okay.
enough people are not talking about it is they don't have the sickle cell education. So the medical practitioner, the doctors and nurses, they don't do a lot of sickle cell modules or sickle cell education in college. So if the medical practitioner barely know what is sickle cell, basically the ordinary people not going to know anything, because the way you pass information is the medical practitioner. They are the one that educates the community. You don't need to go to them, but like their family members, their friends, they educate people on different things. But if they don't know about sickle cell, how sickle cell work, well then forget it. We are ordinary. We don't have medical degrees or medical training. We're not going to know anything about it. So what I will say is, it's not that they're not doing a lot of research. Here in America, sickle cell is the most researched disease. But the point is, sickle cell is just too hard to understand. So it's like so many providers are running away from it. I don't understand it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Because by the time you say, oh, sickle cell is a genetic disease, then somebody like, okay, what's a genetic disease? How does it affect the blood? Then you like, oh, well, people don't have enough oxygen going to their blood. Then there's another question to follow. So it's a lot, because somebody will say, oh, you don't have enough oxygen going to your blood. They just need to go give you oxygen. But it's not like that, because the oxygen distribution to your blood has to pass through a protein. So by the time the doctor explain all of that, it's not something simple. And people going to be looking like, okay, you're crazy. I think if you don't have oxygen in your blood, they just need to give it to you. But they can give you all the oxygen they want. It's not still going to go to your blood. So people don't still get the part how oxygen distribution works in terms of going to the blood. So if these are the basic of sickle cell, people don't understand it, then we're not going to get awareness. So what I think we need to do more, what is lacking more, is like the community awareness. Let me say, for example, in terms of HIV, WHO invested a lot in different organizations. People were working in the slum area talking about HIV. Don't share blades, don't share needles. We can do the same for sickle cell. We can do the same, but sickle cell don't have that. So that's the big problem. If this local awareness is not there, then forget it. We're going to have a lot of sickle cell babies. And you know what? These parents are going to be frustrated all the time looking for sympathy. So we need to change the direction to local awareness. But the money is not there. Because, for example, HIV and malaria, it was a lot of money poured into it. But it's like United Nations, WHO, they're not willing to pour anything into sickle cell. Because you know what? There's a mentality out there like, it doesn't matter what we do, they're going to die. So why are we going to waste our time and raise awareness? So that's what they are not doing. But the part they don't understand is you can stop sickle cell by telling the parents, know your genotype before you have a child. Yeah, that's my point.
Okay. Maureen.
Yes. Oh, okay. I wanted to ask Gragevis what he
Yeah,
thought about this.
I think his network. So,
Come again?
Yeah, so okay, so Ethleen, if I may ask, how do you think, because I believe right here where we are, or in Africa as a whole, everybody is actually trying their best to do this community awareness, get everybody involved, get the higher bodies involved. I don't know, maybe we are doing it all wrong. Are there other points, something you think we should get right, try and get right?
Yes, so I will say, not even in Africa, even in America, yeah, I think we are all doing it wrong. So basically, I keep bringing HIV because in my country, I know that like a 5-year-old child is aware of HIV. The woman without education, no, you shouldn't share a needle with anybody. They will take their needle to the salon to do their weave. So what we are missing here is the resources. So for example, after we preach everything to these parents, like, don't have a child without knowing your genotype, are we going to pay for people to do the genotype test? No, the resources is not here. So it's like we can move all around and preach all we want. If the resources is not there for these people to do the test, then forget it. It's just going to go to waste because genotype test is not something cheap. But HIV test, you can get it for free. In my country, you can walk into any hospital and get HIV test for free with no payments. But you cannot get a genotype test for free. You cannot get it instantly. No. Why is HIV? You can get all of that instantly for free. You can know your results in 30 minutes, but no. In terms of genotype, there's a lot. They have to refer you maybe to 3, 4 hospitals before you can really get a test. So if the resources is not there, if the resources is lagging, then I think we need to forget about awareness because the main thing is you're telling people don't have a sickle cell child. But why are you not providing the resources for them to do the test? Something really simple. Because in terms of medical, the more hard it is, the more people are frustrated. It's like, no, I don't even care. I'm not even sick. So why do I need to know about this? So the testing should be available. It should be easy to get. It should be free.
okay. All right. I'm going to pivot a bit, and well, we're talking about volunteering, and that's why I was asking you the question of, are there enough people to talk about it? You talked about having people in the whether rural areas, villages, to spread the issue of sickle cell. How do you feel that volunteers can help in carrying out this message? Because I mean, if you train people on the basics of, yeah, I agree with you, sickle cell is a bit technical, but there are basics that you can help educate somebody on, who can pass on the message to another person, who can pass on the message to another person, and there's a replication. So how do you think volunteers can help in this instance? What do you think their impact will be in helping spreading the message about sickle cell?
Well, I will say we need to train more volunteers. We need to convince more people to come into volunteer training, because it's not like you're just going to pass a message like that to your family. you need more explanation to these volunteers. Then when we train these volunteers, we're going to tell these volunteers, start with your household, start with your friends, start with your colleagues at work, start with people in your class, start with people in your college. So you want to make it a community thing. But first of all, we have to train this the first end volunteers. Those volunteers are going to recruit from their families, from their home, from their colleges, from their schools. And again, you're going to tell, like, the people these volunteers are recruiting, you're going to tell them to recruit other people, to recruit other people. So it's like you have to pass the volunteering training by recruiting, and the recruits recruit other people, those recruits recruit other people. So that will help. And most importantly, in Africa, I will say the message more volunteers should have is know your genotype. Two, sickle cell people are not demons. They are not Obanjis or whatever all the names calling. It's a disease somebody was born with. And the person got the disease from both of our parents. So you're not going to say, oh, it was from the devil, it was from the gods. No, it's from both of their parents. So you have to educate them not to treat sickle cell people like they are witches. You have to take a sickle cell person to the hospital. You have to give a sickle cell person the appropriate treatment. You can't be questioning on everybody, be scared. You can't judge them by their looks because we are just sick. So all this have to be in the volunteering training package, because I know that's the big challenge about you being a witch. Look at the way you look. You don't have a blood. Only witches take more blood. Then we have to ask the community again to be donating blood, because most Africans don't want to donate blood. So that also has to be in the training for the volunteers. Like, people should be willing to donate blood. So basically it's training volunteers. Those volunteers train people in their community. Those people that are train other people. So it's a chain message. That's the way the volunteering work will go smoothly.
Okay, so a chain of messages, but you do know that chain of messages like that, sometimes the original message can easily get lost
Yes.
down the line, because they get to train other people, and then if there's no way to keep it in check, whatever we are trying to do, we could easily lose it. So how do
Yeah.
you think, yes, so how do you think we can curb this or stop it from happening?
Yeah, well, I will say we have a manual, because you're going to give the main volunteers manual. You're not just, it's not just going to be a word of mouth. You need to provide a manual. The manual will have a table of contents where the first page is going to talk about know your genotype. The second is going to talk about the upbringing of a sickle cell child. Then you talk about the discrimination. You talk about people donating blood. You talk about sickle cell people having the appropriate treatment. But it's everything going to be a summary. So those manual going to be in cards. So you give the card to those volunteers. The people they train, they will provide some cards to them. So it's the card going along. It's not just word of mouth.
Okay, so thankfully, Greg is here.
Okay.
We're glad to have you back. So you've been listening to what Ethleen has been saying concerning, first of all, she talked about the lack of information or lack of spreading the message about sickle cell. And I generally asked her that why does she think there's a challenge with getting that information out? That is it that there's not enough hands to talk about it, and that's where we came into volunteerism. That or it's something else. So, in summary, what's your opinion and what you think are the challenges?
Well, my challenges for me, it's basically not enough. Like she said, basically, like it's not enough education, and it's also not enough. How do you say this again? Come on. All right. How do you say it again? Okay, it's fine. Never mind that. But then the challenges for me, it's not enough education and also not enough responses to the network.
Okay. Yeah. You mean that people don't respond to even talking about it?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you think this can? Okay, Maureen, you are going to say something.
No, I wanted to ask, okay, not enough response or not enough people talking about it. So if going by that now, we have warriors who could help spread this message, but a lot of them are not talking about it. They are hiding. They don't want to be known. They don't. Many of them don't want to come out. So how do you? I don't know. I believe it has to. Whoever wears the shoes knows where it pinches most. So that person should be able to come out and talk about it and not wait for other people to talk more about what hurts them the most. So how do we get to, help bring them out or make them come out? Because whatever good that comes out of it will affect them invariably firsthand. So how do we?
Um, First of all, like let's say if someone decides to leave the group, right? Then I know it's my responsibility to actually give them a background check, like why they have to leave the group. But then if they don't respond, then I just feel like it's just not a must for me to get back to them again. So yeah,
Okay. So you don't think there are ways to encourage people with sickle cell to talk more about it? Because I've had that statement before that, oh, if they don't want to talk about it, you leave them. But if we keep leaving them, don't you think that we'll still get to this issue that we're talking about? Ethleen, I don't know if you will have any opinion on that, because there's a challenge of people with sickle cell. Like if the first respondents, as I would call it, don't talk about it, how do you expect somebody who wants to volunteer, who is passionate about talking about it, coming to talk about it?
normally when you have like a volunteer or something, yeah, you should let them do it. But then if you have someone with sickle cell and they refuse to volunteer or something, then you don't have to force them to do anything. I think you should just let them sort it out or something.
Okay,
I,
Ethleen.
I want to say something regarding that. People
Yeah.
that have HIV barely volunteer. You won't know who have HIV. So
Mm,
they should give sickle cell people the same, because there's a stigma attached to it. They're
mm.
scared you're going to call them names. So, of course, they're going to hide. They're not going to tell you they have sickle cell. So just do what you're doing for the people that have HIV. You do the volunteering work for them. And mostly, sickle cell patients are really sick. So how are they going to do most of this volunteering work? External people have to do it.
I'll argue with you there a bit. We have a lot of volunteers who live with sickle cell.
Okay?
Yes, majority of our volunteers live with sickle cell, and they volunteer. They do a lot. So I think living with sickle cell, I always like to change the narrative about, oh, people with sickle cell look sickly, they can't do anything and all that. So when we say that, we also transfer the narrative to other people who don't have sickle cell, that, okay, you see, they said that they can't do much. So why should we bother about them? So I think it's more of, okay, like Greg said, yeah, they don't want to talk about it because of the stigma. But
Yeah.
the ones who can talk about it, I think we should find a way of equipping them so that they can talk about it more. Sometimes they may not know how to start. Like I know of someone who said when he was like, he didn't know much about his own sickle cell. He had to go and read it up and try to understand it so he can explain to somebody else that this is what he has, this is why he has it. So I think one of the shortfalls of volunteering is the ability to adequately equip them from giving out the relevant information. And in that sense, I would like to ask that in what ways can we, because I know they'll say finance, well, and non-profits have financial issues all the time. Bearing that in mind, in what ways can we equip people who want to volunteer? Maybe they don't have enough information, or they have even challenges, maybe transportation and all that, but they really want to do this thing, how can we equip them both technically with the information about whatever they're talking about, in this case, sickle cell, and also help them to cushion the effect of spending money by themselves?
Is the question for me?
Anybody?
Okay. I also don't have an answer to that, but then let's see.
Okay, so I will say how to equip people more. I know like so many non-profits have financial issue. So I will say we have friends that are rich. We have friends that are influential. We need to try to talk to these friends for them to understand the need for sickle cell education and how they could help. Okay, we know they're not going to be volunteer, they don't have time, but whatever resources they have, even if it's not financial. For example, if I have a friend that sell makeup, have our own makeup brand, I will ask that friend, can you donate 5 different makeup products to me? Then I can give that to the volunteers, different volunteers. Like, we can't pay you, or we are not financially equipped, but we have so many stuff we can give out. So you can use in kind donation to encourage volunteers to keep coming. Although they are volunteers, volunteers here are being paid. Whenever I volunteer, they paid me, or I have a tax credit. I will take it on my tax. I will file, like when I'm filing tax, I'm going to put like I volunteer, and the volunteering service costs like $400 or $500. So I will get it back. So you have to attract these volunteers with something, with gifts. If you attract them with gifts, they're going to stay, trust me. Because sometimes it's so overwhelming to be doing something over and over without money. The only people in terms of sickle cell that can advocate and don't care about the money or anything, it's people that have sickle cell, it's parents with sickle cell child. They will go the extra miles because they know exactly what they are going through, and they don't want anybody else to go through that. But the main like the outside volunteers, you need to encourage them. Even the sickle cell volunteers too, you need to encourage them. You need to give them in-kind gifts. You need to give them gift card, and you can get those gifts from your friends around. If they can donate money, tell them to donate stuff from their businesses, and that will help us.
Okay.
Thank you. I also have taken something very valuable here. So I have a lot of people I'm going to start bugging henceforth. Oh wow, this is a nice one. So Gragevis, I think you were
He's off. Again.
he's off again.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he said he was thinking.
Yes, he was still.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Let's be. I don't think.
Okay, so I don't know if this.
Okay, there's a question. Is it a question or a comment? Okay, comment.
Comment.
Yeah.
No, it's just a comment.
Okay. All right. So while we're still waiting for Greg to come up, we're still talking about, because what this December 5th was Volunteers Day, World International Volunteers Day, and we're trying to highlight the impact of volunteerism. And I know in compared to Africa, America, the more developed countries, there's a more knowledge about volunteerism. Even in South Africa, which is why I wish Greg was on. I know some universities make sure that volunteering is part of their is it curriculum or whatever, maths for. But typically in Africa, we don't cultivate that habit. And I know volunteerism has got people in a lot of places, because through volunteering they gain experience. So that when you're filling your form and everything, there is a chance to say, okay, I got this experience here, I got this experience there. You're doing your bio or your CV. So how do you think, because definitely compared to places like the US and all. In Africa, we really, really need, because a lot more people, smaller NGOs especially, rely on volunteerism. And how do you think we can educate people on the importance of volunteers or being a volunteer in Africa itself?
Yeah, so I will say the first point I want to go back to sickle cell. Even in America, volunteering for sickle cell is nearly impossible. It's really, really hard. So I will say sickle cell generally lacks a volunteer. I don't know the reason why. I don't know if it's the stigma, because in America too, is a lot of stigma. Like, you're lazy, you're a drug addict. It's so many name calling. So maybe people don't want to associate with the sickle cell community. So we struggle for volunteers too. We struggle for funding too. So I will say in Africa, we need to try to tell people like helping others will bring happiness to us, because not all the time you will get paid. I know maybe, okay, in Africa, we'll say we do a lot of stuff like free, take care of people, but maybe we don't use the word volunteering. So maybe we need to define the word volunteering to Africans, because I will say in Africa we share more. We eat in one place. Is I can go to my neighbor, I can borrow money. You can't have it here. I can go to my neighbor and say, can you lend me $100? No, it's not possible. So we are more connected in Africa. The community is a more community thing. So I will say maybe we just need to do the definition. We just need to teach people about the definition and how they can advance their volunteering skills. But is there? I know the eagerness is there, the willingness is there for Africans to help each other. We are twin. We grew up, we were taught to help each other. We were taught to share with each other. So it's like maybe the volunteering thing is more like a Western thing. We need to put it more and say, yeah, remember when you were coming up, your mom said you should share with your friend. So it's the same thing. You need to help other people. Yeah, that's my point.
Okay. All right. I thought Maureen was going to ask a question. That's why I waited. All right. Greg is still having issues coming on, but we'll continue. In terms of okay, but going back to volunteering, you talked about maybe changing it to a different language so that they can understand it. Universities are great places to get volunteers because they're young, eager people trying to achieve a lot. I remember there used to be this group, I can't remember their full name, ISEC, in some of our universities in Nigeria. I don't know whether I'm sure, I think they are in all over the world because you can even do exchange volunteering. Now, how do you think we can put volunteering into our curriculum in universities and even in secondary schools? I'll just like do some couple of hours of, I know I think in America they call it like community work, you know. Mm-hmm. How do you think that can be embedded in the curriculum? Because a lot of times we focus in Africa, we focus on the book, the reading, the technical. I can see it in your eyes, the technical details. So how do you think it can be embedded? How do you think we can encourage policies to change the narration on so that sort of thing can be included?
Yeah, well, I would say they should start with secondary school, like pupils in Form 5 and Form 6. What they do is like they give you credit. So, for example, I will say you have English, you have mathematics. You should have a module called volunteering or community work where people are going to get the same credit. So, if you have 3 credits for English, you should have 3 credits for community work. So you start from 5 up to college. You make sure that's a model. People should take it. And it's not like you're going to write no, you have to go out. You have to bring evidence. You have to bring picture that you went out to this NGO and help them do stuff. They have to give you letter of recommendation because you're not going to sit at your home and write a lot like you're writing proposal, because that's what Africans do. We're good with writing and bring it back to your professor. No, you're not doing that. You are going to the field, you're going to get dirty and do the job. And with that, it's easy for you to get a job because employers are looking for people with real life experience. And when they see like, oh, you work with these people, okay, so if you can work for free, that means you have the patience, you have the courage to help other people. Then we are going to hire you. So make it a cause that you're going to give grade. The moment you tell an African child like, oh, if you go do this work, this volunteering work, you're gonna get 100. It's like, 100. They're gonna fly. They're gonna leave everything because they want 100. They want A. They want to fly because Africans, they keep telling us to be successful, you really have to have high educational grade. So you just tell them about those high grades, those kids will go crazy. They will be finding people by fire by force to help these people. So the government need to add that as a whole model. Yeah.
That's a nice one. Just the same way those who are into sports, if they don't measure up in their classwork, they are not allowed to play sports, and no college would come to pick them up for their school. That's a really good one. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I don't know if we're still waiting for Gragevis to come back in.
He's having real issues with his network. So I'm not sure he'll be able to come back on. He's still logging in. He keeps saying no log. So he's still trying, but I'm not sure he'll be able to come back on. So we can wait a few minutes. We just share. Ethleen, in your work, do you do your work in the States or you do it back home in Sierra Leone?
Well, I will say I do it both, but mainly the work is
Okay.
done in the States here, like the community outreach, the events, everything is done here. And in terms of online, then I try to bring people from different countries. But then another thing we do is we have people with sponsors from different African countries, like help people buy their medication, like provide resources, like have a conversation with people, like what is going on with you? Because somebody say, oh, I've been in pain for 3 months, the pain is not going. The doctors don't know what to do. It's like, because you don't have the appropriate medication, so the pain is not going to go. So, have this conversation with people because I believe sickle cell, if you have a good health care, you're not going to die. You're not going to have organ damage. You're going to live a very long life. But the health care it's not there in Africa. It's not there in America. It's a battle. But when you have the education on sickle cell, when like for me example, I have the education now, so I know I need a neuroscience doctor. I know I need a GI doctor. I know I need a sickle cell doctor. I know I need a primary care doctor. I know I need an art specialist. So I have all those doctors together working for me to be better. My health has improved. 7 years ago, I was a mess. It's much better now because I know if my heart is acting up, I know the doctor I'm going to go to. They're going to do the exact test. They're going to do echo scan to see my heart. And it's not like they are guessing. They really have all the technology here. So I'm not really scared. I know I'm going to live a long life by the grace of God because the healthcare is here. Not only the healthcare, the specialists, the diagnostic tests, and the medications, everything is available. So when you have the availability, you have to make good use of it. Another thing again, most people are in America, but they don't know like what is available. They don't know like with sickle cell, you need a neuroscience doctor to deal with stroke. They don't know that. They just run into the sickle cell doctor. The sickle cell doctor, that's not his problem to find you neuroscience doctor, to find you art doctor. You have to request, like, no, you're a sickle cell doctor. I need somebody for my brain. So you have to know what to request for. You have to know sometimes what to tell these doctors because they are still learning. And I know that most importantly, you have to know how to describe the feel of your pain, because the feel of your pain will solve a whole problem for your medical team. Because for me, for example, I know my crisis feel like electric shock. When I say that, they know exactly what to do. They know exactly what's going on in my body. So know how to describe your sickle cell symptoms to a provider is a big step. I would say that's number one. You need to know that. So basically, we need to focus on education, both in the sickle cell community and to the general public. Then I believe we'll see a better future for sickle cell.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And you get people. How is volunteering there? Is it easier to get people to support you when you're doing your
You
outreaches
know,
and stuff?
Yeah, well, I will say people in my community, people in my circle. I will say the first set of people I will go to my family, my friends. You
Friends,
need to
yeah.
come, you need to invite other people. Then I move now to the sickle cell medical community, to this other sickle cell groups. Like we are all
Mm-hmm.
family. We all need to come here. We all need to celebrate together. We all need to raise awareness together. So it's not just like me, me, me. I try to bring all these people together and like we are all family. I
Yeah.
try to establish like we are family, so we need to help each other.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pity that Greg couldn't come in again,
Oh,
but our time is fast spent.
yeah.
It's been great talking to you. I'm so excited for what you're doing, and I pray that God will give you the grace and the strength to continue doing what you're doing. And let's remember, the volunteer is a fuel for every NGO.
Amen.
Not every NGO can even afford it, even in their startup state, to employ staff. So it's very important, and you do get a lot of reward from volunteering. And just sign up with anything. Find your passion. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be sickle cell. It may not be sickle cell. It could be another thing that you love that you're passionate about. Find a way to volunteer, and you gain experience from there, I'm sure. So thank you again, Ethleen, sorry, for having, and thank you, Greg. Even though you were not able to stay long, thank you for coming on. Network is always a problem. We'll
I
get over
understand.
it in third world Africa. they'll, don't mind. They're still struggling with that, but we thank you all for coming in. This has been a production of Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, uh, supported by the Public Affairs section of the U.S. Consulate. Don't forget to join us next Saturday for another interesting topic on this series of volunteering. And we're going to bring people who started off as volunteering and now they're running NGOs for themselves. So it's going to be a very interesting discourse. Till then, have a good night. And if you're in Nigeria, Lagos precisely, don't forget to join our radio program every Thursday at Star FM on 7 o'clock in the evening. God bless you all.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.